Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Detroit Metro Plug podcast where connections matter. Bringing you interviews of difference makers in the Metro Detroit area, in the area of entrepreneurship and community involvement. So, thank you for tuning in live. We are live on YouTube, live on Facebook, on our Facebook page, Detroit Metro Plug Podcast, and we are live on our LinkedIn on the LinkedIn page at Charles McKay. So I want to thank those who are joining us and watching this live podcast. So happy Monday to everyone, and welcome to episode 53. We have an exciting guest who's going to talk about how to write an effective press release. So we're going to get into that. But first of all, I just want to thank you for those who are watching and ask a favor. If you could like and follow and share this podcast with your friends, families, and associates, especially those who would benefit for knowing how to write an effective press release, who want to increase their visibility in the community, get the word out about what they're doing in the community. So please like and share. So thank you again. We're in the fall season here in Detroit, Michigan. The leaves are definitely falling. We got some. It was cold one day, and then the last few days it's been nice 70 weather. It's getting warm, and then it's going to drop back down to getting cold again. The fall weather. So that's Michigan weather. All right. So before we go into introducing our guests for this evening, a few quick announcements. Um, this Sunday, Detroit Metro Plug is hosting our fall business networking event. Which will be held this Sunday, uh, October the 30th, the day before Halloween. October the 30th on Sunday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., 2 to 4 p.m. at Marygrove College on 6 Mile and Myers area. So we're going to have a chance for you to meet like-minded entrepreneurs. So I want to invite you, if you are a new business owner, business professional, entrepreneur, or a community leader of a nonprofit organization, you're invited to come out and network with us. Lunch will be provided. We have a special guest. I'll be doing a live podcast interview of Miss Andrea Thompson, and she is a certified financial educator, and she's going to share about how to develop your business credit, how to leverage personal credit to develop your business credit, and she shows her students how to grow their business credit from zero to $50,000, and how they can use that to invest in their business, whether you're doing real estate, you have an online business, you're doing merchandising, you're selling merch. So she's going to talk about that. There'll be a Q&A time, and then also there'll be a time for you to share about your business and to meet new people. So I want to personally invite you to our uh, fall business network. And I have a little a slide to show you regarding that. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Yes, here we go. All right, so that's this Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m., our fall business networking meetup. So you can register on Eventbrite. If you just search Fall Business Network on the Eventbrite website platform, you could find our event. It's only $10. Basically, it covers lunch and an opportunity to meet like-minded people. Also, for the month of October, we have sponsored a first grade class at Detroit Service Learning Academy in Detroit, Michigan. This is the neighborhood I grew up in, and this is a way for us to give back. So we're doing a school supply drive. So we need pencils, crayons, glue sticks, construction paper, laminated pouches. So whatever you can give. And the drop off is going to be at Demi's restaurant. So there's a drop off where it's a basket. There's a sign right at the front as soon as you enter the door at Demi's restaurant, which is located on 7 Mile and Telegraph in Northwest Detroit. So, so those are the announcements. All right, so I want to introduce our featured guest for tonight's podcast. So our next guest has over 30 years of experience in the newspaper business. He is majored in journalism, attended Eastern Michigan University. He is currently an an ad account executive at C&G News. He is I would consider, I don't know if he would define himself, but I would consider a news media expert. Uh, he basically specializes in helping small businesses and mid-sized businesses on helping to craft their message to help them to grow and to reach their customer. And so he's going to go a little bit into that, and he's going to definitely share about how you can write an effective press release. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome our next guest, Mr. Mark Reitenga.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Detroit. I met Detroit Bugger. There's the horn.
so, uh, so I appreciate you taking your time to join us on tonight's episode 53. So, what we do first is just tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit where you're from, and your journey into what you're doing today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Charles, for having me. I've been in the newspaper business since about 1993. I've worked at 4 different newspapers. I started at a little one in Waterford called the Spinal Column, and then I worked for about 15 years at the Oakland Press daily newspaper. I worked for about 5 or 6 years at the Detroit Free Press, and I've worked 10 years at C&G Newspapers, which is a little bit more of a local community newspaper. So I've seen it from every side. And I work with tons of retail clients and the cities and car dealerships, every walk of life. And they all have the same goal. They want to get the word out and they want to increase their business and let more people know about them. And the press release, which I'm going to talk about, is one of the best ways to do that, to get across a very specific event or message about one specific thing. And I'll explain more when we get to that.
All right. Thanks again. So you come with a lot of experience um, working for small, mid-sized newspapers, and you use your journalistic knowledge to help craft messages. So I appreciate that. And I want to personally thank you for the story, a feature story in the latest edition of the Southfield Sun. So I appreciate that. So
It
let's
was
get
great.
into it.
Yeah.
Uh, what's the first step? Should we show the slides, or how do you want to do it?
Show the first slide, which is just the introduction slide, I guess.
Okay.
And I titled it How to Create an Effective Press Release, or How I Learned to Who, What, Where, Why, When.
Okay.
And then when you turn the page, you're going to notice on the second slide, it's very effective if you have a company letterhead. And the reason is you could be any Tom, Dick, or Harry and say you're important. But when you have that custom letterhead, it really personalizes your message and lets the reporter at my newspaper or a media person at a radio station or at M Live or at a TV station, anywhere you're trying to get this press release to, that to take it seriously, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Uh, so if you turn to the next one, I kind of used my letterhead to write one for Charles. As
Okay.
you know, Charles is having his uh, uh, in-person meetup networking series, and he's having it on Sunday, October 30th at Mary Grove College. So you'll notice this is not how I would really make a press release, but this is what you want to say. This is the
Okay.
nuts and bolts of what the reporter or the media expert wants to get out of that. They really don't want to know your life story, even though you're very fascinating, Charles.
Quick,
uh,
a few questions on this
yeah,
slide, if you don't mind.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is the basic information on your letterhead: who, what, where, why, and now with the part
Yeah,
about the educator, is that what's
yeah.
that about?
Educator. What do you mean? Oh,
Well, it
hey,
says under.
I sorry, I did not space that well. Andrea Thompson is a certified financial.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I
I,
got you. I got you. I got you.
I,
All right. So
I think I
let's see.
sent you one that wasn't finished, and my apology for that.
No, no, no. Okay. All right. So you have the who, what, when, and why.
You got it.
Okay, and then you have the person who's going to be at the event.
Yeah.
So, um, a couple of questions.
Yeah.
You talked about the letterhead. In a digital age, when we're sending these press releases out, is it going to be in an email format, actual printed on a letter? We physically mail it through the post office or FedEx. How is this being sent out?
Well, that's a great question, Charles. And in the old days, there would be some faxing of this, but the fax is pretty much obsolete. In fact, we barely use the fax machine now at C&G. So I would say it's pretty much going to be emailed almost every time. There's nothing wrong with putting this in an envelope and mailing it, and then also sending an email. You can never really be too persistent. In
Okay.
fact, my the person that taught me all I know about press releases at C&G, Annie Bates, she's the
Okay.
Southfield Sun. She also recommends that you call her and leave a message on her direct line saying, "Hi, I'm Charles McKay. I'm from Power U Ventures. I'm having an event on October 30th. I sent you a press release directly to your email. Would you please take a minute and look at it and see if maybe you can get it into the community calendars, or if maybe you can call and get more information that you could mention me?" Because she told me she gets over 200 emails a day.
Wow.
Yeah, right. It's crazy, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The idea is you want to be that one that sticks out. You're that person that's like, "Hey, Annie, I appreciate what you do. Could you help me?" Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the important thing is it's going to be email format, and if
You
you
got
can incorporate your letterhead in the email, you recommend to do that. You
Yep.
have the basic who, what, when, and where, and why, and then you say you send the email out, and you're going to call the person and let them know that you sent a press release. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
But
Okay.
don't call the same day. Call the next day.
Call the next day.
Yeah,
So
because you
don't
don't want
call the same day. Call the
you
next day.
don't bully them. You just want to say, "Hey, I sent it. I'm verifying that I sent it. If you could help me with this, I'd be greatly appreciated and appreciative." And then leave your contact phone number, and maybe she'll
Okay.
call you, ask you questions, or just run
Now,
it.
now, here just a couple of
Yeah.
backdrop questions. So most people who watch my podcast are new business owners or new community leaders or have a new nonprofit and are just trying to get things started. So how do you develop a list of people to send to? Do you just go Google like Fox News or newspapers, or how do you develop a list that you're actually going to send these press releases to?
I'm a little ahead of the game because in competition with them, so I knew who they are. Is that fair? So there's a handful of newspapers in each city. In fact, Southfield only just has the Southfield Sun, unless you count the Free Press or the Oakland Press, and
Okay.
neither cover very specifically. So the people on the scene that do news these days are the people I just mentioned. Maybe M Live, which is a pretty good digital
Okay.
news. Radio and TV typically steals their news from us, and even the Patch has a different. I don't know if you ever heard of the Patch, but that's an online newspaper. They've had a hard time staying afloat because
Okay.
we've done it for so long. We've been in business at C&G for over 35 years.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't recommend sending it to like local TV stations, radio stations, or
No, I do. It's just there's no guarantee they're going to put it on, and there's also no guarantee they're not going to call you and try to sell you ad space.
oh, okay. So
So there.
what's the advantage of sending it to like CNG News or M Live or something like that?
Well, we cover community news. So you
Community
definitely
News.
or a press release to someone that specializes in covering small businesses. Most, like Crane's business, wants large businesses. They're not into small businesses. I'm not putting
Mm.
them down. I'm just saying that's what they
Right,
do.
right, right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you said some key things. So if you're an upstart such as myself,
Right.
just trying to get a footing in the community, so you recommend news outlets or organizations that focus on community news.
Yes, and just keep in mind, it depends on your product too. A lot of businesses, they can only survive on selling to a 1 or 2 or 3 mile radius. But some businesses need to cover the whole Metro Detroit. So that means they have to really outreach more, and they have to have way more sources to get their news out to. So
Okay,
on a selfish level, I focus in on Southfield, Berkeley, and Ferndale because
okay,
that's where territories are. So that's why I'm such an expert at those
okay.
cities. Doesn't mean I don't care about the others, but I'm specializing in helping those people reach those communities.
Now,
Yeah,
let's say so my event is on the this upcoming Sunday. What is recommended how far in advance should you send out your release?
I would say on something like you're doing, it should almost be immediately after your last event. Are you once a month?
No, this is a quarter, once a
Oh,
quarter.
okay. My apologies. So, in my mind, you pick a logical time to thank the previous people for coming.
Right.
That will be one contact. Hey, uh, uh, Mary Grove College attenders, thank you for coming to our event. It was a great. Do a recap. Okay.
Right.
Then wait a couple days and say, we're excited to announce that our quarterly meeting will next be at the Radisson in Novi, Michigan. I'm making this up,
Right, right, right. No, I got it. I
and
got it.
put a teaser out. Then, when you're about a month out, put the formal event out and make it one of those Facebook invites where you actually invite your friends to it, because then people have a chance to share it. They have a chance to tag other people. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes
Do
a
it on
lot of sense.
Instagram, do it on Twitter, do it on whatever form you're best at.
Okay, okay, all right. And so you have your list of community organizations, whether it's print media, online, and then you send it out. And then when you send it out in advance, then you make a phone call the next day just to make
Yeah,
sure.
and just you got to be patient.
Right.
It's a game. The more
Okay.
times you send stuff and the more times you follow up, this you start the relationship with that media group, and then they realize you're a force to be reckoned with. And I don't mean nagging. I mean professional calls saying, "This is who I am. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. Can you
Okay.
help me?" And if they say no, I can't help you, it's okay. Say, okay, why can't you help me? And if you can't help me, who would you recommend I contact that can help me? And you're going to learn so much.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So what makes the difference of a newsworthy community event? Is there certain
I,
aspects to it?
yeah. If your event is a free event, we're going to cover it more than if it's a cost. That doesn't mean we wouldn't cover the Empower You Ventures event, but a free event like maybe the city would put on or a charity would put on, we're
Oh,
definitely those people because they're very philanthropic. Does that make sense? I'm not saying Charles McKay is not. I'm just saying,
right, right. No, you make sense. I
uh,
understand.
yeah, you're covering the cost of having that at that event and the food that might be there. But we typically cover free events most commonly.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. You
yeah,
see, I'm taking notes, so this is very good
yeah. Oh, yeah.
information. So, typically, if it's a free event, now does it have to have like a charity piece to it, like a give back, like maybe back, like I'm doing a school supplies drive, and we're having an event. Would that be something newsworthy?
The school supplies, I would say, is very philanthropic. But even if you were just doing a health session where you were, getting people together to do a workout or yoga, that
Right.
still is good. It's free, so they're coming there
Okay.
to.
Free, free, free,
Well,
free.
free is the thing because the idea is we want to create community events where 50 people show up rather than just 15 people at $10 a piece or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right,
100.
right. I got you. I got you.
Create mass attendance so that that person can grow their following and have even bigger events the next time they do it.
Right. So
Yeah,
that's key. So yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So a free event that shows a community benefit.
correct.
Okay. All right.
Right.
All right. So let's go back to the slides here.
Yeah. So if you go to number 4, I show one I think is a little busy. And this is a theater that's in Ferndale, and they're really professional. I'm not showing this to disrespect them at all, but you notice it's 2 pages. Go ahead and flip to the second page.
Okay.
It,
Oh, I think I
oh,
don't think I got the
okay.
second page on there.
The reason is because it's on the other side, so don't feel bad. It was two-sided.
Okay.
Uh, um, I don't think that's good. I think you should keep uh, your press release to one page. I think you should keep your resume to one page.
One page. So your
People
press.
don't have time. They don't want to look at your entire life story. They want to know what you can do for them and what the who, what, where, why, and when is. That way they can place it quick, and also so they can categorize it. Hey, this is an A. This is a B. Because no offense, but some events are very time conscious. If it's
Right.
a vigil because somebody had been hurt in the community, that's a pretty important press release, right? People are going to want to come and pay respect or join hands. I would say that's a high uh, focus. But if it's maybe something that's going to be a niche, you might not get as much notice. Does that make sense? I don't want to pick a
Yeah.
niche. I don't denigrate any event. I'm just saying you really don't want to do nichey things. You want to do mass appeal events. That's what you want to get, and that more people will know about what you're doing. And that's
Okay. Okay.
to create those events is an absolute skill.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So don't have a long press release more than just keep it to one page.
One, and you notice it's got several paragraphs. It's just a little busy. I'm not
Too busy.
disrespecting it. They're basically mentioning a whole month of their performances. They put on all kinds of performances,
Right.
which are
Right.
odd, but we really just want to know which ones that we're going to list that month or that, because our newspaper comes out every other week now. So really,
Right.
we're going to list you once or twice a month, and that's it. Does
Right.
that,
Right. Right.
yeah. So you don't have to
Okay.
give your whole life's history. It's just tell us what you want our readers to know quick so that we can help you.
Now you said something interesting.
Yeah,
You said that the TV media pick up from you guys. So you're saying that you're seeing cases where you guys report on community events and they talk about it in the local news?
absolutely. It's radio hosts are famous for grabbing an Oakland Press or grabbing a Southfield Sun and reading a headline that happened in that one of those communities because that's the official news on it. Where
Right.
radio and TV stations typically don't do investigative reporting
Right.
unless somebody got hurt or there was a crash. I mean, it's more in the now. We
Right.
don't. We report on actual things that happen and put it out the next day and write in a comprehensive story.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the next
Go to the next
slide.
one. Now, this is the one that I consider a middle. It's not too brief and it's not too busy. I would give this a B.
A
And this is
B.
a cannabis company that moved into Ferndale. And they're represented by a great ad agency here in Royal Oak area. And I like it, but I think it could have been simpler even. They were putting on an event there for their grand opening. And I
Hmm.
just would have been so much simpler if they would have said who they were, where to come in, what kind of, I think they had a musical act that was there that performed, and that maybe you can sign up to get prizes and that kind of stuff. Just keep it very simple. It's not terrible, it's just, to me, it's a little bit busy. And then if you flip it to the next one, this is the one I really like, which is Beans and Cornbread. And this
Okay.
was written also by a pretty famous marketing woman named Charlene Mitchell. She's been in the Detroit community for a long, long time. And
Okay.
you can't read it that well, but you'll notice that I put a who, what, where, and why, and when next to every place. And it was easy for me to find it on that press release. So I
Okay.
feel if I would have sent that to Annie Bates, it would have been very clear what she could have pulled from it, and she could have put it in the community calendar, or she could have even sent this man an email, Patrick from Beans and Cornbread, and asked him questions about the event. It was like a Woodward Dream Cruise car event. I don't think it was over the same weekend, but it was a
Okay.
class kind of thing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Great. Great.
yeah.
Now, so so if you send it out, you have the format. It's one page. It's a free event. It's a mass appeal event. What's the probability that the local community newspapers are going to do a story
It,
on it or publish it, talk
it's
about it?
it's very hit and miss,
Okay.
and and you know this, Charles. It's not what you know; it's who you know.
Right.
So I'm an awesome person to know because I'm great at getting things to their attention.
Okay.
So I have a very strong heart for charities. I help a lot of charities, and I may never sell them an ad, but I try to help them get mentioned.
Okay.
And I also am very good about helping my clients get mentioned outside of their ads.
Okay. Okay.
They have grand openings. They're experts in their field.
Okay.
If a editor asks me, hey Mark, who do you know that does this thing, that specializes in medicine, specializes in veterinary care, whatever, I have somebody that does that. So I'm really good at trying to help them get some mentions, because man, it's such a relationship, right? You
Right. Right.
helping them build their business, but you're also trying to help them stay in business. So
Right. Right. Right.
that's I hope I'm answering that question well. But as you can tell, it's not possible to list every press release that comes down the pike.
Right,
So
right,
it's up to you to be persistent. It's up to you to keep contacting people like me in the marketing department. Call the main number. Don't be afraid to ask, hey, how can I get this thing through? You know,
right.
we all want
So
to just, we can't help everybody for free.
right, right, right.
If you're putting on a benefit and it's $100 ticket to get in, that's an ad.
That's an ad. Right, right,
Yeah, and that's not to denigrate what they're doing, but I mean,
right, right. It makes sense.
yeah. So, and we get asked all kinds of stuff.
Right, right,
Not everything is newsworthy.
right,
Eh, that,
right,
that's up to the discretion of the editor and the reporter. And really, there's only one editor and one reporter at the Southfield Sun, so it's not a huge.
right,
Uh, and I'm the marketing ad guy, so there's really
right.
only employees in most of the papers. We have 19 of them.
Okay. So Mark, what do you advise people? How do they begin to build those relationships with
Well,
the local media? Or
the most important advice I give anybody is know who your ideal client is. Don't
okay,
be that person that says, "Oh, everybody's my client." That's not going to work. You
right,
better write down a list, write down 10 people that are your dream accounts and call all 10 of them and introduce yourself and say, "I want to do business with you. How about you? Would you like to do business with me?" You would be surprised how many people will say, "I don't, but you know who I think is perfect for you?" No, this guy down the street. And in fact, I'm going to call him for you. That
okay,
does, you know and it's all in the approach. It's all in the, hey, I offer this skill, I'd like to help you with it. What do I got to do to help you, right?
right.
What do I need to do to make it easier for you to use my product, or what can I do to make it easier for people to find you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. So so what I would like to go into, I talked a little bit about what you specialize in. So talk a little bit about some things you specialize in and how people can work with you.
Well, it's funny because you took advantage of one of them. Although I'm primarily an ad creator, I'm also an excellent writer. And I'm really good at helping people to get a story written, whether I have a reporter write it and I collaborate, or I'm good at making the story look uh, large enough print so even the old eyes out there, like my eyes, can read them. Again, I've been in advertising for 30 years. I have a really strong eye for white space and for bold print and for things that resonate. And nobody wants to see an ad that's so busy that they can't even focus on what the purpose of the ad is. It should be get in and get out quick. You're selling ice cream for $10 and it's 20% off. Come on in, get your ice cream. It doesn't need to be hard.
Okay, that's awesome, and thanks again. You definitely helped with that story. A lot of people got exposed to it through social media,
Yes.
through my Facebook platforms.
Yeah.
People got exposed to that story and made comments about it.
Can I
Um,
can I speak on that too?
yes, yes,
Sorry to interrupt you. Everything that you do should be done in tandem or to fortify the other thing you did. So if you're going to do a radio commercial, make sure you mention in your newspaper ad that you're doing a radio commercial, or mention it on Facebook or on Twitter. Say, "Oh, I'm doing some cable TV. You should check out my cable TV." Then people start to spread it.
Mhm.
You can't put all your uh, what's that saying? All your
Eggs in one basket.
on basket. Yeah.
Eggs in
You
one basket.
got
Yeah.
to spread eggs around because you never know who is going to be ready for your message. And I would never say to anybody that running an ad in my Southfield Sun will make all your dreams come true, but it will make some of them come true.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Who would you say is your ideal customer?
My best customers are in no order: cities or municipalities, senior living institutions, restaurants, auto service, medical, dental, insurance, anybody that's an agent you have to work with. If it's something that every person in the community needs to buy, I can do an ad for that person because that's my specialty, is helping that agent get across what they're trying to get you in the door for, whether they're a dentist that does implants or they're a foot doctor that does foot
Right,
surgery, anything. Uh,
right.
we're an older population, so there's a lot of older people. Like my mom and dad, they're still working in their 70s.
Wow, 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 wow.
People live a long time now, and they want to take advantage of products that will help them stay on their feet or make their life easier, right? So
Right, right,
that I specialize. I am not a specialist in every ancillary business. I'm not.
right,
If you do something that's not needed by every person in that community, it's harder just because it's more of a niche. It's more,
right,
maybe they would be better off doing an ad in that niche magazine that, talks about it. So I'm not denigrating their business. I'm just saying I found
right.
that stick to my top 7, 8 clients, I stay in business longer. So I really recommend that to you as well. And I don't mean you, I mean the listening audience.
Listen,
Find
okay,
who your ideal clients are and go after them with
okay,
vigor and energy, because they're the ones that are going to keep you in business. Trust me, forever they'll keep you in business.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, as a result of people, I got my cell phone. A lot of people they interact with their cell phone. They're on platforms like TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest. Uh, and so a lot of people consume that, and a lot of ads are on there, and some people use those platforms. What would you say what you do complements that, or is different, or what do you say about
It
social
100%,
media ads?
it 100% complements them. In fact, our biggest spreading of news is through Facebook. The
Okay,
most way we spread a story is when we have a story on our website, which is candgnews.com. uh, they spread a story about their uncle who just opened a business, or their child that won the basketball game, whatever it is, right? That's how we primarily get our news spread to people who maybe don't read our paper. Maybe they live in a different city, right? They live in Rochester, but they work in Southfield.
okay, okay,
But yes, they all work in tandem. They all fortify each other. I never denigrate another media source. We all work in tandem, whether we want to admit
okay,
it. I'm not here to put anybody out of business. I'm here to put you in business.
okay, okay.
Right.
Great.
Right.
So, how do people work directly with you if they want to get help with press release or running ads or
Well,
grow their
anybody
business?
call me, but just know that I have a protected territory. So there are 19 communities that we serve, which means there's 18 other reps besides me. So if you're not in the Southfield, Ferndale, Berkeley, Oak Park, Huntington Woods, Pleasant Ridge areas, I may not be able to be your ad rep, but every call is free. I will never hang up. I will never not give you my opinion. I
Right,
want everyone to grow. It's not about me. It's about them growing and knowing the most effective way to get the message out. Because I think I said it to you. I think you'll admit it, Charles. I told you
right,
what not to do too, right?
right, right, right. Yes, I
It's
would agree.
what I wouldn't be a good advocate for you if I just did everything you said, right? I'm here
Right,
to help you. I'm here to
right,
collaborate with you.
right,
I
right,
to associate with you and take your ideas and my ideas and smash them together and make a
right,
collaboration.
right.
So, same thing. If anybody called me that's listening to this podcast, and I'd be happy to give my phone number out if you want to too.
Yeah,
Um,
that's up to you. However you, whatever you feel comfortable.
I'll help them. Doesn't mean I can stay their rep, but
Right.
I will point them in the right direction, and I will help them to understand how to get a press release to us or wherever they're trying to get it out to.
Okay. So to recap, to write an effective press release, you want to have the basics: the who,
Yeah,
what, when, why.
and
Okay,
where?
and where. Who,
Yeah,
what, when, why, and where.
yeah.
And then also you want to keep it concise, straight to the point, no more than one page. Correct.
Yes, and keep it brief. Uh, have good clarity. Less words. I always say this about everything in my life. Less is more. You
Mm-hmm.
don't
Less is
write
more.
get little sentences that are weighty.
Okay.
And again, make the subject line. That subject line in the email is so important. Make it catchy. Empower You Ventures wants to meet you on October 30th. Be
Right.
there.
Right.
So cute. The subject line will make people open that email. So never make it too long. Try to make it cute or make it that you'd want to open it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Subject line, straight to the point. The who, what, when, why, and where. One page. And you said some key things. You said, uh, especially if it's a free event, you definitely will have the probability of getting it published or getting a story about it.
And
And then you,
and also to get no fight back from the editor, because I
Okay.
do fight back. Don't think every time I send something they're going, oh, so I'm so glad you sent this to me, Mark. I don't have enough work. It's
Right.
not.
Right.
It's all about the trust they have in the community and in me, and that
Right.
you're on the up and up. You're there
Right.
to serve the community as well. So even if it's a $10 event, we might still put it in. But I'm just saying, free events, we really like it. It's about that philanthropic
Right. Philanthropic aspect.
yeah, that you're doing this to edify the community.
And then I like what you said, doing a follow up. Once you send the press release, send that email, you do a follow up phone call.
And leave that voicemail.
Leave that
Yeah,
voicemail.
the difference. Make it very succinct and short. Say
Right.
your name, why you're calling, why they should open it, and that you would love to talk to them on the phone or via email. They
Okay.
love that, and they know, oh wow, yeah, I read that. I forgot about that. Because they have to
All right.
prioritize their day too, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right. All right. All right.
yeah.
So that's a great recap. So as we close out, a couple of things. I don't know if you have any parting words, or has there been a book that you would recommend that maybe have influenced you when it comes to press writing, press release writing, or media, or writing in general, or maybe about business? Any one book that you would recommend
It's
for our
funny.
viewers?
I'm embarrassed to admit this. I don't think I'm a gigantic book reader. I do read the Bible quite a bit,
Okay, so you
but
recommend the Bible?
um,
Hey,
uh,
hey, that's not bad.
but one thing I do, I try to learn from the people I meet, and if they say
Okay,
something profound, I'm sure to write it down and regurgitate. You'd have even some of the things I've told you to get today. I've stole it from the people I've met. I'm
okay,
shamed when somebody positions something succinctly. Man, I just get so excited. So that's how I live my life. I try to use very quick, succinct, reasonable phrases that the person can't say no to. Even if they're not going to buy from you that day, there's nothing they could object to. Everything you said made sense and was there for their benefit.
all
So
right.
I wish I had a book. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll email it to you. You can say it in your next one that Mark recommends this book. So,
Well, I didn't know. I thought some
I
some
got to
people
get
have
on.
books to
Right?
recommend.
Yeah.
No, no, no worries. But the Bible is a good book to
Oh, I
recommend.
love
So,
the Bible. I read it almost every day, and
all right,
there's
that's great.
something there that makes life simpler for me. So I appreciate
Yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, all right, all right. So, that pretty much wraps it up. I really want to thank you for your time and sharing. You gave some great insights. I was taking notes. So you gave me a few ideas on my email campaign and to follow up with local community leaders in the media space.
I,
So
I,
I appreciate that.
I want to thank you too for this platform for me to share my opinions, and I'm very grateful for you,
Hmm.
and very grateful for the business that you gave me with that ad. So thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. And for those who are viewing and will view the playback, we'll leave in our description information about CNG News and how you can work with Mark directly. And I'm not sure the documents, the examples you sent me, are we able to make that available as a
Absolutely.
download or as a
Absolutely.
PDF download?
Yeah. I guess the only thing I'd be concerned about is it's this is for exercise. It's I don't want any of the participants I had in those press releases thinking I'm taking
Oh,
advantage of.
right, right, right. So we won't
I,
worry about
I
that.
was just
So
trying to tell you what I liked about them and didn't like about them. You know what I mean?
right,
So
right, right. So yeah, so we won't worry about that. We'll
yeah,
just
yeah,
pick and watch it during the video. We won't.
yeah.
We don't need a
Business,
sample.
all three of those companies that I.
Right,
Uh,
right.
so it wasn't to knock them. It's just to show how you can make things even better.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but yes, you could share, of course.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah,
All right. Well, thanks again. I appreciate you being on the show.
yeah. Thanks, Detroit.
Yes. Well, that wraps up our podcast for this evening. Thank you for viewing. And so, if you find value in what we're doing, I want to encourage you to like and follow our Facebook page at Detroit Metro Plug Podcast and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So, this is episode 53. We have some exciting episodes coming up in the month of November. So, like and subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you can be alerted when we have new videos that we drop and our new live shows coming up. So thanks again. I'm going to close with a few announcements, and thanks again for viewing this podcast.
Hi all, how's it going? My name is Sierra Seabrook. I am the manager of Denny's Restaurant and Bar. We are located on 7 Mile and Telegraph, right behind the mobile gas station. We have weekly specials. Monday night, we do Monday Night Football, BOGO Burgers, buy one burger, get one free, as well as drink specials. Tuesday night, Taco Tuesdays with DJ Mysterious on the ones and twos. We also have drink specials all night to 10 p.m. on Tuesdays. Thursdays, $15.99 steak special, baked potato, and a side on that. And then Friday night, we have our DJ Mysterious here as well. Monday through Friday, after work, long day of work, come out, 5 to 7. We are here in partnership with Detroit Metro Plug Podcast, and we're supporting Detroit Service Leadership Academy today.
Hey everyone, this is Charles with Detroit Metro Plug Podcast. If you are finding value in today's video, I invite you to subscribe, like, and comment. We would love to hear your feedback. And don't forget to click on that notification bell so you can be notified when we have upcoming episodes of difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship and community involvement. If you're interested in being a part of our Facebook networking community, I invite you to click on the link to be a part of that community. This is a place where you can network with like-minded people and a chance to share about your product or service. If you're interested in working with me directly on how you can share your story with video or with podcasting, you can email me direct at DetroitMetroPlug313@gmail.com. Thanks again, and let's get back to this interview.